はい。最初のタイトルが始まるのが、すぐ始まるのかちょっとわかんないんですけど、最初のタイトル、コントロールですね。はい。また夜からね、始まっていく感じですけど、そうですね。23日の夜から始まってて、今日で2日目かな。いや、2日目。ですね。はい。中盤くらいになってきまして、まあ、そろそろ盛り上がりもしてきたかな、みたいな感じだとは思うんですけれども。
All right, people. I am here with our lovely runner, Cass, who is going to show us a Control Any % run today. Hello, Cass.
Hello, everybody.
And, of course, their lovely commentator, Ashley, who will be helping out during the run.
はい、すみません。
Alright.
なんか久々すぎて、ちょっとあまり喋るネタを何も持ってきてなかったんですけど、コントロール始まります。で、今回ですね、解説者の方いらっしゃらないので、また、わかるよとか、内容を知ってるよみたいな方、喋れる人はぜひ、応募していただければなと思います。逆に、ちょっと喋るのはなっていう感じだったら、チャットとかで教えていただけるとありがたいです。はい。喋んないのもありかもしれないです、ね。で、この、奏者さんが反対向いてるのはデフォっていう、戻りましたが。
Let's try that again. Guys, girls, non-binary pals, my name is Cass, and I'm thrilled to show you Control, any % inbounds, current patch, no shield glitch, which is a really long way of saying our glitchless category. There will be some skips and some speed tech in there, as well as some little exploits, but in terms of glitches, you're not going to see much. The glitch category for this looks very, very different. In a traditional run, I would hit new game right here, but instead we're going to hit continue so that I can change Jesse's outfit at the first possible scenario. So pretty much as soon as you see me get in an elevator, that bid war has to be cut off. So get those last few donations in right now. And we are going to be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we are Jesse Faden. First skip is right now. Very, very quick. We are Jesse Faden. We have infiltrated the Federal Bureau of Control, which is a government organization set on securing, containing, and protecting objects of power and altered items. We're not going to go too much into the story because it is a phenomenal casual experience, and I really don't want to ruin it for you. And like I said, the bid war is going to be very quick because it's cut off basically right now. Jessie is wearing her very dashing no glitches allowed jacket here for us for the start of the run. But from what I saw of the bid war, that will be changing very, very soon. Like I said, we've infiltrated the Federal Bureau of Control. We're here for a job interview as a janitor's assistant. That was the director of the Federal Bureau who was going to be interviewing us for this job role, and he has met a very, very unfortunate end. So we do what any of us would probably do in this scenario, and we pick up the murder weapon. And just like in real life, when you pick up the murder weapon, you get that person's job. So now we have had the fastest career time in the history of ever, and we are now the director of the Federal Bureau of Control, or at least we will be once we pass this little trial. So touching an object of power will transport us to the astral plane, which is sort of a cognitive realm that's set outside of our realm. For Jesse, it sort of acts as a trial to prove that you are good enough for the object of power to give you its abilities. For us, it's sort of a tutorial area. The game is a bit of a Metroidvania in the sense that unlocking new abilities will unlock new areas. So it needs to teach you how to use those abilities in advance. First thing we're going to do is take out these enemies, and you're going to see the first of a trick that we're going to do many times called camera manipulation. By looking this way as I kill that guy, these two guys always spawn in this location. You're going to see that a number of times throughout the run. as most of the enemy behavior is camera-based. And here we are introduced to the Hiss, which is the main enemy of the game. They are sort of an auditory enemy that has infiltrated the Federal Bureau of Control, and they're not great. They kind of zombify a lot of the employees, hence why we are taking them out as much as possible. And that's about as much of the story as I'm going to give you. There are many mysteries throughout the game, even some that I don't know, and I have beaten this game upwards of 100 times. So it's one of those ones that I really, really do implore you to go and play for yourself. In here, we're going to encounter our first mini-boss and the first major reset point of the run. At very high level, we want to get very particular what's called mods. So there are a couple of different types of mods in the game. You've got personal mods and you've got weapon mods. They will change different things about Jesse and the gun. So what we want to see here is energy recovery, which we just got, and headshot energy renewal. So at very high level, we will reset there over and over again until we get the right mods. Obviously, this is a marathon setting, so I would have just played through with whatever mods I got given. But the ones that we got are pretty damn good, so I'm pretty happy to take that. And at this point, Foxbird, I need to pass to you to ask, what outfit are we going to be wearing for the rest of the run?
Oh, it looks like it is the asynchronous suit.
Of course it is.
It has won the bid war, and also, incredibly, we got a $100 donation from Endolexi with the message of a triple heart, which means we've already met our $1,500 incentive.
ここでビットかな服買えるの
for the run. Yes,
All
yes
right.
it does.
Well, we will
Give
find
us the Cass.
we will find an appropriate time to do that. But here we are. We've got the asynchronous outfit. Thank you all so much for raising the money for that. I won't pretend I'm not disappointed that we didn't get to do the golden suit, which is my personal favorite. But I do understand.
戦い一体何だったのかってくらいなんか普通の移動パートみたいなのに変わっちゃいま
Emily
したね。
Pope, who's one of our sort of main assistants for the game. Normally here I would actually do a quit out. It is faster. This game is measured in game time usually, and so loading screens and the exiting to the menu is cut out. And by quitting out there, we actually teleport back to the last control point we activated, which is where we changed our outfit. But it is smaller RTA, and as this is an RTA marathon, we're just going to keep it as simple as possible until I forget and my muscle memory kicks in and I quit to menu. You will still see some quit outs, so you will get to see that as a bit of speed tech. But it's usually...
You got a bad spawn.
Pardon?
You got a bad spawn over there.
I got a bad spawn, yeah, I got a bad spawn. So that's another camera manipulation. But unfortunately... Oh my goodness, and then I'm just going to miss that dude with 17 shots. So here's our first shielded enemy as well. Shielded enemies will be impervious to our bullets, and we need to use kinetic energy in order to take them down. Kinetic energy comes in the form of melee hits or launch, which is an ability that we're going to pick up very, very soon. And most of this game is, combat encounters where we need to sort of use our resources.
SGP 的オブジェクトの影響下にあるエリアが赤くなって内部構造がおかしくなっているのを主人公が謎の力で浄化していくみたいな。なんかヘンテコ施設から
What is it, Ash? Like
ヘン
12
テコ施
bullets?
設から脱出しようみたいなゲーム。
15 bullets before it needs to reload itself. So coming up here, we've got another little skip. So this is just another little bugged mantle, similar to the skip you saw at the very start of the run. I'm going to climb up
急
this
に
ladder
赤く
and
な
try
っ
to
た
avoid
り
having to run around this whole room.
建物の構造が変わっていくのは
I
こう
was a
いう
little
部屋
worried about that one. That's
部屋って
actually
施
a
設ってこ
lot
と
harder
だ
than it looks, so I'm pretty happy with that.
なんか
And now
Yeah,
we're back.
that's one run that he knew about.
You what, sorry?
That they said that they didn't.
ナ
That's
チュラ
one
ルに
that
超
run
能
that
力
he
使っ
said they knew about and they just didn't fix
て
it.
That is one that they knew existed and they just left it in for us, which I cannot say the same for a lot of other skips that they have sort of fixed and patched out over the years. But they've always been pretty supportive of their speedrunning communities, so we can't be too mad about it. Here we've got another astral plane trial to learn launch. We
Or a
touched
trademark ability.
これこのなんか
trademark
四
ability.
角
You
い
won't see this ability so much throughout the game.
精神世界みたいな部屋で新しく身につけていくのか。
But basically, if you missed it, we touched a floppy disk and
で
then we were able to
今の
throw it
で
into our minds.
オブジェクトを持ち上げる
For
こと
those
が
younger
でき
ones
る
in
ん
the
で
chat
そ
who
れを
weren't
使っ
around when
て
floppy disks were a
こう
thing, that's
叩
what
い
you
て敵を
missed
倒
out
そう
on.
ね
We
み
all
たいな
had telekinesis back when
感じ。
floppy disks were real. But unfortunately now, since CDs, we've all lost that ability. And here we're
I
just
remember that. Good times.
taking out a few enemies there in an attempt to get some resources that we may be able to upgrade the service weapon to a different form. It's unlikely that we'll get the opportunity to see the shotgun or the sniper rifle, but if we can, I'm going to do it. So, and here we've got our first boss. Ash, do you want to explain Tomasi while I do him?
Yeah, so this game does this thing where it gives you a new ability and then it moves to hard counters. So this guy is gonna dodge every launch ability that we throw at it. So instead of what we can do is we can manipulate that dodge, which is on a cooldown, by baiting it out with a shot, and then we can just combo launch hits after that, and he's just gonna take them down just like that. Very nicely done.
That was, he can go really wrong really quickly as well, which is something you're going to hear me say very frequently throughout this. Like, no matter how many times I've played this game, there are still things that go wrong every single time. And Tomasi, I know a lot of people who couldn't beat Tomasi casually and then just called it quits on the game, which is really disappointing because, like, it is a really phenomenal game, but he is a very, very tough boss to be thrown into straight off the bat. Because, yeah, as Ash said, they give you an ability and then they give you an enemy that hard counters it. So, and now we've pulled a light code 3 times and we've ended up in the Ocean View Motel. And Alan Wake, you probably recognize that name, as it is in both Alan Wake 1 and 2. And fun little Remedy-verse fact for you all out there, that's the door we want, but this door right here leads to where Alan Wake is residing. So the spiral there indicates...
Dreamcast door?
The what?
The Dreamcast door?
The Dreamcast door? Oh no, I'm never going to be able to unsee that now. Yeah, so that's the Alan Wake door. So we know that, you know, the 2 worlds are linked, obviously, through various DLCs and things like that, as well as links, very minor links to both Max Payne and Quantum Break as well. Although legally, I think we're not allowed to say that Quantum Break exists in the same universe, as Remedy don't own the rights to it. But here we've got another Astral Plane challenge.
Tim Breaker.
Yes, Tim Breaker, and there's a photo in the Prime Candidate on the wall, which I'll show off when we get there.
Oh yeah.
And this is our first menu quit. So this game operates very similar to the way, say, a Dark Souls game would. The control points are our bonfires, and every time we activate one, it sort of stores that location as our last bonfire or last control point. And then when we quit out and load back in, it'll actually teleport us back to that most recent control point, and then we can use it to fast travel. So I'll be zipping all around the map, quitting out when I'm too far away from one, so it teleports me right back, and we very selectively skip certain control points in order to not accidentally go back to them. There's a couple that I can take for safety. I theoretically should have taken one right before Tomasi, but I just spent 6 hours practicing this in preparation, so I felt a little bit confident.
If you messed up, I was just gonna laugh at you, so it's fine.
You know what? I would have deserved that. I would have deserved you laughing at me had I not gotten first try Tomasi. So here we've got another little skip.
Micro trick.
Got it.
And he gets it. So you basically just double tap the interact key after interacting with the elevator the first time there, and that skips the fade out. You open up the menu again, you pick the floor again, that skips the fade out or cutscene. So it seems like 5 seconds or something like that.
And it actually
and here,
is.
I want to explain this. So this game's busted if you just hold W from the start all the way up to this control point, and it won't unlock for you. So we kind of just wait back here for a couple of seconds, and while we wait, we flip the shoulder over to our left, and that lets us shoot the door and aggro those guys. And we do that so they'll despawn later. But we're still just going to wait here. We're going to pick up these enemies back here. Okay, we're going to wait for the second save indicator at the bottom right. But I think that's good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it already happened and I missed it. Yep, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, okay. And there it's unlocked. There's supposed to be a second wave of enemies that spawns there, and they just don't trigger for some reason. But that's my favorite fact about this game is it breaks if you just hold W up there.
And this is what, it's always funny when I do this run for people and I call it the glitchless run. Because it isn't real, it's more of a no major glitches category. But people will be like, oh, that was a glitch. And it's like, have you ever seen a glitched run of this game? Because, oh boy, do they not look the same in any way, shape or form. Ash holds the world record for the standard 80% categories. Have you got both no shield and any percent?
Yeah, and all bosses.
And all bosses. So pretty much of all the we've
なんか
of all the
めちゃめち
categories
ゃ
we have
これ
in
エイムが多分
existing
うまいん
control,
だ
I believe Ash
と
and
思うん
I
だ
have
け
all the
ど
world records bar one of them. I think it's
あまりにもオートエイムみたいに
No,
こう
Yeah,
狙
maybe
っていくか
Car
ら
has
すごいっ
100%,
す
right?
ね。
Car's 100%, Clea's AWE.
すごい
I
一
forgot
本道
about
だ
the
なと思って
DLC categories.
あのこの道
How rude of me. How
なんか
rude.
前に進んでるように見えないんですけど、
But yeah,
こ
so
う
now
壁
we are
が
up to what,
でかすぎて
believe it or not, is a side
ベ
mission.
ルトコンベヤーみたいな
And I know that it's a side mission because I managed my entire first casual playthrough
木馬が
never picking this ability up, which looking back on as a speedrunner, biggest sin in the world because this is about to unlock our dash ability and we're about to start going real fast. First
な
of
ん
all,
か
we
赤
have
い
a
も
little
ので触れ
skip.
たらなん
Ash, you
か
want to explain it?
あれなんですかねこの精神世界行っちゃうん
Yeah,
ですよ
so
ね
we just jump out to the left here. There's these crushing walls, and we can get stuck in the collision on them. And whenever you get stuck in anything in this game, it sort of shoots you
す
straight
ごい
up,
近道してる気が
which
する
is kind
す
of a
ごい
glitch,
近道
but
し
it's
てる気が
whatever.
する
But that just shoots us all the way up top here, and we can just go around the beaten path. Just beeline it straight to the exit there.
And I'm sorry, Ash, but if it has
And
a
then-
name internally within Remedy, it's not a glitch.
Let's see the history.
That is called
oh,
penetration
the
resolution, which we are all going to be incredibly mature about in chat.
Mature, yes, for sure.
And now we
Yeah, I
have
forgot about that, because usually you explain that when we're just explaining how all the glitches work, but that's the one that since this isn't a glitchless category, it's just inbounds. So as long as we stay
なん
inside
か
the
ダッ
bounds
シュ
of
で
the
きるようになり
map,
ま
we're
したね
fine.
これはいいです
If we're
ね
stuck in a wall, that's still legal.
And here we've got another little unintended skip. I'm going to
カメ
try
ラ
and
が上
fall
に出
down
て
the
きて
side of
回
this
数決まっ
elevator.
てて
Ah,
自然に
ran
回復する
straight
け
into
ど
the pipe there. That was an awful attempt, but that's okay. Again, it only
な
saves
ん
a
か
couple
い
of
い感じ
seconds.
に近道できそうな感じがする
And we've got a little back up there. The elevator's too slow, so we just launch ourselves off of it. And then we're off to the power plant. So while we do this next section, it's probably a great time for some messages,
MSG
Foxbird. If you,
power
would you like to tell us
plant.
anything in particular?
Yes. Our upcoming run after this one is Sindark Fates' Charlie Murder run, and we have a bid war for it to vote on the blood color.
Yeah,
So if
2
you
も出
prefer
るんですか
red or green, let us know via donations.
なんか割
I
と
mean,
内容
green
的には
blood's
難
kind
し
of
そうだ
dope,
け
right?
どアクション的にはすごい面白そう
Red blood's too real world.
Well, the donations shall decide.
こういうなんか
Donations shall
バカす
the
か銃撃
all-knowing
戦できるゲーム面白い
donations. All right, so here we're introduced to a new enemy type. I can't remember what they're actually called. I just call them the boomers because they get up real close to you and then they go boom. They are one of the most terrifying enemies in the game because they are silent until they are right behind you. And then once they're right behind you, they just scream and explode. And this game does have one-shot protection. So from, I think it's like, is it 80% and above, Ash? You won't get one shot?
No, it's just like as long as the screen isn't bloody red, you don't die in one hit.
But if you do get hit and protected by one shot, the next piece of damage will kill you. So if 2 of them
Yes.
blow up, like kind of staggered one after the other, you will just go from 100 to 0 in basically no time whatsoever. Same with
この
getting shot.
あれなんですね、
You
魔法
could
陣
get
みたい
shot
な
by
や
a
つに
sniper rifle and then immediately shot
こう
by a
調べ
machine
る
gun,
と
and you will just go from
元の
100
場所
to
に
0
戻る
in
み
no
たい
time
な感じ
whatsoever.
で
And honestly, I'd be very surprised if that didn't happen at least once throughout this run. You know, deathless runs of Control, they're not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but they are
洞窟来た
a little bit more difficult, especially when you're doing inbounds, because the inbounds runs, you have to do a lot more combat than you do in the any percent or standard no shield categories. So here we've got a little battery puzzle. We're going to Keegan Murray this across the room and land it there. Pick that one up, throw it in there.
なんかちょっ
This
とパ
is
ズ
sort
ル
of
っ
a
ぽいなんかがあって
two-part quest.
それ
where
を
we've got to sort of come over here, fix
す
these,
ごい綺麗
and
に
then go to the other side of the power
こ
plant to fix a
の
different
四角い
part
ブ
of
ロッ
it.
クを
But
ド
first,
ル
we
具
have
現に入
to
れ
shoot
てみたい
nipples
な
off a clog.
こんな感じだと思う
my chat likes to
The
call this nipple
hitboxes
aim
on those are
labs.
so bad.
It's the hitboxes on these nipples are the
結構なん
weirdest
か
thing in
今
the
無理やり
world.
入った
So
気
I
が
will
する。
miss them very, very many
もう
times.
ちょい壊さない
Okay,
といけ
that's
ないよ
actually
な
really。good. Hello?
無理やりギュッて。
Maybe I'm
Get
wasting my
those
time as a
kind of
speedrunner. I need to
kicks.
join like a pro esports team. Look at, I missed like
There
two
you go.
there. My chat is still gonna hang it on me for missing two. I can guarantee it. And now we're gonna put this battery back in and then quit the menu.
Well, you insta quit. I forgot how fast you can do that.
So that battery, you don't have to wait for the quest confirmation or anything to pop up. As soon as that battery hits the battery socket, you can quit the menu. So, and then we're gonna fast travel back
from
to
there,
power
you-
plant.
Then we go straight forward and we do the energy converters, and this is just like a nice little sprint
結構ギリギリ
through
だな
this。section of the map.
スタミナが
And
結
this
構
is
ギ
stuff
リ
that
ギ
you
リ。
just
4
never
回飛
see
ぶくらい
in the regular glitch categories because we skipped this entire chapter pretty much.
Which is a good time to talk about the skip names that exist in the Control community. I am a firm believer that the Control community has the greatest skip names in any speedrunning community. And I can say that because I didn't name any of them. So this one,
Yeah.
currently we're doing jobs for Artie, who is the janitor. But as in the glitch category, you skip all of those. It's called the lazy assistant skip.
Yeah, it's called the lazy assistant skip. There's a skip where we skip Nomasi or Tomasi, the first boss, and that's
あ
called
と、あ
Nomasi.
れだ、魔法陣みたいなのがあって、
And then there's a glitch where we unload Jesse's player
Yeah,
model
like a
and we're just a
cute
service
emote
weapon sliding around on the ground. We call that Swidey McGunny.
不思議ですね。
Yeah, what is it? There's Slidey
and then
McGunny,
the shield.
Boxy McFloaty, and Shieldy McSorry. Are they the three?
Yep, those are the three. The holy trinity of control
The Holy
speedrunning.
Trinity. Yes, absolutely. I believe they're the ones that are referenced in the Bible. So we've now lifted we've done what's called the directorial override. We've lifted the lockdown on the internal parts of the building so that we can actually start running around to different sectors. So the sort of game loop, I suppose, is you start in Central Executive, you run out, you do a mission, you run back, you talk to Pope. Pope, my headcanon is that Pope is Emily's girlfriend, and I hope that gets confirmed in Control 2. But even if it doesn't, I'm still going to believe that it's
スキル
correct.
取った。
There I leveled up to launch 5, and we do that for a very specific reason. There is one enemy coming up that, if we don't go to level 5 launch, becomes a hell of a lot of a bigger problem. And we also have, I will give a warning when we get really close to it, but we do have a very sensitivity warning coming up for one room. So just a heads up for those of you who may have issues with flashing lights. But like I said, I'll give you another warning when we get closer to it. Here's another room with sniper rifles. The enemies can be snipers at the best of times, but these ones are actually equipped to be snipers. So what I got to try and do is I got to try and blow up these 3 sort of red data cubes, I guess they kind of look like. To remove, there we are. I just got hit twice by the sniper rifles. Now I'm on 1 health. Which really sucks because the next room has a lot of enemies in it. So I'm going to have to be really aggressive in this next room because enemies drop health. So the more aggressive you are, the faster you will pick up health. And so I need to get up close and personal. The game really rewards aggressive play style, which is perfect for speedruns. But can also be terrifying if you are super low
すっげえ
health.
なんか
Is that the last one? No.
これ次ですね。
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, if his screen is bloody red, then there's potential to die. And he was on red health for a minute there.
And this is where we have the photosensitivity warning. So if you are sensitive to flashing lights, please look away from the screen. I will give you an audio description so you don't miss anything. Basically what we're doing is we're entering a room that has 2 batteries and 2 battery sockets. There's also an enemy in here that we can't kill. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw the batteries into the battery sockets, and then he is behaving very well. We're going to bait the enemy into a sort of soundproofed looking room type thing. Once he's far enough in, we're going to dash out past him, hit a button on a wall that's now powered thanks to those 2 battery sockets, and that's going to lock him in that room, allowing us to escape out a different door. You may now
結
look
構なんか
back.
なんだろ
And this
う、
enemy
飛び
right
要素み
here,
たい
this
なのが
giant
増えて
red ball
き
of
てる
light,
気
is the
がす
reason
る
we
じゃ
go
す
to
るけ
launch
ど、
5.
す
Because
っ
that
げえ
is
早
a
くクリアしてる
healing
からよ
enemy.
くわかんないんですよ
And it will
ね。
heal all of the hiss in the area faster than we can damage them most of the time. So we take him out first before taking out the rest, and that's again going to be something you see consistently throughout the whole run. I'm always going to focus the healing orbs first, and then we're again
robbed.
Hit with a bunch of enemies all at once. I meant to grab a big item to launch down there and hopefully collect a whole bunch of them, but I missed and I got a small item instead. So we had to do that in a little bit of a slower fashion. And now, Ash, do you want to talk about like the pull-through mechanic of launch?
Yeah, so basically when you grab something, she pulls it towards her, and you can aim your camera in such a way where it hits an enemy on the way to you, and then you let it go on the way out. So you basically get 2 hits per launch. You can actually get more than 2 hits per launch because you can kill any number of enemies on the things way towards you. So that's really what we want to do to maximize our launch, is just doing as much damage as we can with each one.
It's not always easy to do, but yeah, on enemies where most enemies will die to 1 launch, it's just that powerful, and we max it out as quickly as we can. But for the enemies that are quite a bit more tanky, I will be trying to position myself to get a pull through on every single one of them. It's never easy. The launch mechanic is phenomenal, but sometimes we get what's called a ghost launch, which sometimes Jessie will just grab an item that is either, on the other side of the map. If there's no objects to grab, she does just grab, like, the foundation.
It'll spawn a thing.
Yeah.
It'll spawn a thing behind your camera, worst case.
Yeah, and it gets caught on its way to you, so it never actually arrives, and because it never arrives to you, you can never throw it. So that's super frustrating. I'll point it out if I get a chance to see it. And here we're going to try and do a... Nope, I stuffed it up. That's okay.
There you are.
Are you holding W there?
I think I was holding W there, yeah.
But
that's okay. We'll show that off later.
We haven't talked about is, if you're wondering how we're zipping through the cutscene so fast, we allow an auto hotkey script that just remaps the scroll wheel to the space bar. So he's just scrolling his mouse wheel to zip through the dialogue like that.
And here we've got another manip. Basically, oh yeah, you go.
Yeah, we just want everyone to be in front of us because the second wave
kind
of just spawns everywhere. You got one behind the pillar, I think.
Hello? Sir?
It's that second pillar.
重さにもよるんだろうけどね。大きさとか。
Alright, I don't know where he is.
I don't know where he is. There he is. There he is.
He got relocated.
And
This
I think
game,
oh no, they all spawned up. Perfect.
Yeah, you're good. Sometimes the game will think an enemy NPC is stuck somewhere, and so it will just straight up move them, like respawn them, like the zombies in Call of Duty. And it's really like funny when you know that that's what's happening. But like, I think most people, especially when starting out, they wouldn't like understand that's happening to them.
I have the world record in this category, and I didn't know that happens either.
You didn't know that? Well, that just happened to you, so...
Alright, so here we've got another little mini-boss. Again, going to reward aggressive play, but this dude is real dangerous. This is one of the big differences between what we call Legacy and Current Patch. So Legacy means you can play on the first version of the game where things are a little bit different, and Current Patch means you have to play on the most current version. And in later versions, from the
you just got energy renewal.
I did, yeah, I saw that. From the most recent, from the patch before the most recent one up until now, his shield takes 2 launches to kill. So it just makes that fight a little bit longer and a little bit more inconsistent. But I did mention at the start of the game, good mods. So, we want to try and reset over and over again until we get some really good mods. We just got the best mod in the game, so that's real nice. Basically now every single time I get a headshot, I'm going to get like a quarter of my energy refunded. So I'm just going to be able to
普通のオフィスみたいなところから急にでっかい場所に入れたりするからよくわかんないんだよな。
These doors are thankfully all very... I dashed way too early there. These doors are all consistent, so every single playthrough they're going to be exactly the same, so you just memorize the pattern. And it's same with the puzzles. Famously, this puzzle on my casual playthrough took me twice as long as it now takes me to beat the whole game. So I almost quit at this puzzle because I refused to look up puzzle solutions online. It's like just this weird hang-up I have.
なんか謎解き始まってる。
So I
なんかこれ多
basically
分
ended up brute forcing the whole puzzle.
コンピューター
Thankfully
に
now we have it routed out in such a way where
合う
besides the first
図形をはめ込むみたいな。
terminal, all we have to do is click on the terminal, press enter, and the correct key card will go in. So shout outs to Ash for routing that one out.
What I like is that even though what I do is a few seconds slower,
どうなっちゃうんだ
everyone still does it anyways.
Yep. Hey, it's consistent, and I don't have to think. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right?
No brain strats.
No brain
the other
strats.
thing is, you're going for NCA slides, right? There's one coming up.
After Atlas Chamber?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm good at.
Yeah, so he's messed it up twice, but he's going for a relatively new movement set we call NCA sliding, and NCA is for non-combat area. So basically, anytime you enter an area that strips you of your weapons and stops you from using your abilities, you can dash into it and not hold any movement keys, and you just slide super duper far. So it's a nice movement trick. You're gonna see it in a little bit.
Hopefully, you're hopefully gonna see it in a little bit. No, the one going to see Arish is the one that I'm semi-confident in. So,
I mean, if you mess it up, you should just run it back.
I just run it back out and back in over and over again. It's basically
and then just show that you can go from like all the way across the room because it's so funny looking.
It's the control equivalent of sliding on tiles in your socks, and basically looks the same as well. So it is something I'm hoping to show off. But here we've got another little unintended. We're just going to avoid the first half of this puzzle by just, again, climbing up some geometry that we're not technically supposed to. But the best part about that is by skipping the first half of the puzzle, the second half becomes a million times easier. It's one of those puzzles where you solve the first half and then you've got to kind of undo what you did to get the second half. But by skipping the first half, the second half just becomes so easy. And then we're back in the Ocean View Motel and Casino. Every time that we enter this, we will enter it 5 times across the course of the run. And every single time the puzzle is a little bit different. So in the first time, we literally just had to ring the bell 3 times, collect the keys, and out we go. And this one, we had to ring the bell twice. It's sort of a spot the difference puzzle between rooms 1 and 2. So we had to make all the items in room 2 match what they were in room 1, and that will open the 3rd door. So thankfully, just like all the other puzzles, it's consistent across all playthroughs. So once you memorize which motel is where, you can blitz through it pretty quickly. And this part here is actually my favorite part of the entire run. The movement here feels very, very cool to get right. And it's followed by not terrible combat arena, so...
Yeah, this one's fun. I like this one. Especially because they like to line up so you can get multi-hits pretty easily.
なんかオーラを
And this is
オー
sort
ラ
of
を
a
守って
really good
まとっ
spot
て
to
るっていう
highlight sort of how you do the combat in here, because obviously, you know, the shielded enemies require kinetic damage to really take out. So basically, you'll see me trying to use my bullets on non-shielded enemies and then launch and melee the shielded
なんか
enemies.
防護服みたい
The
なの
worst
被ってる
part
か
is
ら
when you get down to 1 enemy
だ
left
か
and
ら
he's
なん
hiding
か
somewhere.
硬いんですかね
Okay, that was pretty quick. So,
あ出た
and good news,
これで元に戻り
Atisha,
ました
we
ね
will be getting to take control very soon. All right, so here's hopefully the
Yes,
NCA
okay,
slide. There it is.
There you
So you just basically maintain your momentum until you run out of space. And you just hit a wall. And it's very, very fast. That one's kind of a tough one because you like need to stop sort of halfway to actually be able to chat to Arish. But it's still fun to do.
know what's funny is I haven't seen Arish in months.
So that's actually my favorite skip name of the glitch category. So that character who we just spoke to, that's the second time we've met him. His name is Arish. And in the glitch category, you actually skip both parts where you would meet Arish. And there's a voice line just there from Jessie where she says Arish wasn't joking
ちょここの
about that monster.
ロードを戻
But
して
in
る
the
け
glitch
ど、こうし
category,
た
you've
方が
never
早
met
いんですかね。
Arish, so we called the skip Who's Arish. I say we, I had no part in it, but the skip is
クッ
called
クで
Who's
セーブ
Arish.
してもう一回入れ直すみ
And
た
now
い
we're
な。
going to go to the power plant again. Way back when,
Power plant?
like 20 minutes ago, I activated an elevator. I went to the wrong spot.
I was gonna say it's the control room, isn't it?
About 20 minutes ago, I activated an elevator. And the best thing about elevators in this game is if you quit out, if you close the game, if you load a completely different map, elevators will always stay persistent. So by calling that elevator to this floor like 20 minutes ago, it's now already here and stays here until I get on it. So this saves like 15 seconds of calling this
こういう
elevator
なん
and
か
just
壁がな
waiting
い
for it. Because I
壁
can
が
call
ない
it,
さ、エレベ
bugger
ー
off
ター
and
っ
do
てこ
something
うい
else
う
while it slowly travels to this floor.
巻き
And
込
then
ま
you
れ
can
そうです
take advantage of it being in just the right spot at just the right time. So here we've got a bit of a dangerous trick. I'm just going to utilize the sort of vertical height suspension.
So this is
怖いよね、
yeah,
業
this
務
is
用エレベータ
dangerous
ー。
because there's no buffer on the dash
意外
key,
と
so
組
he
むだ
has
け
to
のエ
press
レ
it
ベー
at
ター。
just the right
怖いよな。
cadence. Yeah, to get that, because if he rushes it, he's gonna drop because it'll say no, and then there's
わ
like
あ、
a
すごい、
cooldown.
すごい下まで降りる。
So yeah, you just have to press it at the right rhythm, and he did that very
あの
nicely
超能
done.
力なかったら。
It's a very scary thing to stuff up as well because you will fall to your death. And there's a safety save, maybe like 15 seconds earlier, but I didn't take it. And so the safety save before, the last save before that is like, it's like at the elevator, isn't it?
You would have loaded back at the control room,
at the
so you would have
control
had
room,
to
yeah,
wait for
right.
that elevator. Yeah.
So I'm very glad
The
that
other
I
thing
got that
is
one.
like there's no buffer on the fire button either, so you have to click the mouse at just the right cadence, or you're not shooting
すごい
optimally.
地下施設。
It's very much a game of rhythms.
横には長かったけど。
Yeah, because if you press it too early, if you press the inputs too early, you're going to eat the inputs. If you press it too late, then there's just a delay. And, you know, we're speedrunners. We don't like delays. Here we've got another battery puzzle with the coolest skybox in the whole game. In fact, I think the only skybox in the whole game because everything else is indoors. But that just sort of gives you the right idea of what this type of game is, where we're actually inside a building in the middle of New York right now. But there's just a giant quarry with a you know, star-filled night sky outside. All right.
So now we're going back to talk to Marshall. What about? Who knows?
Yeah, something to do with rocks. I don't know. She's gonna tell us about some bald bloke.
Yeah, play the game to find out yourself.
Yes, correct. Oops, I hadn't teleported yet. You'll see me do that several times.
The thing with the fire button is if you click too fast, then you just straight up are shooting slower, which is messed up. And then the other thing with the service weapon that I wanted to point out earlier is it's not accurate when you're shooting like really fast. So like it's only accurate on the first couple of shots.
I love weapon bloom, Ash. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think that really matters as much now because you have the other abilities to balance out, but it can be real painful.
このエレベーター外からさ、
doing the first two
こう
levels.
話しかけて乗ってるんだろうけど、毎回なんか割と修理で面
Probably
白
my
い。
most said phrase on my stream is just how much I love the weapon bloom in this game. You'd think a magical gun of you know, unknowable power would actually be able to be accurate, but nope. Still affected by bloom.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
All right, and here I've chosen not to level up. So every runner does this part just like a little bit differently. Some will level up back there in Central Executive, even though it loses a little bit of time because you have to go to a control point that you don't need to go to. Some will level up as soon as we do this fight here. And then some, like myself, will wait to the next control point to level up. Which is dangerous because if you do forget to level up at that last control point, you have to do the boss underlevel, even more underleveled than you already are, which makes it a hell of a worse boss fight. So we have a little, you know, not word association game, but we have a little, you know, little trick to remember to level up that I'll introduce you all to very soon. And what I'm going to try and set up here in this next area is what has been dubbed Dylan Dash. So the Ocean View Motel and Casino is an NCA, so it is a non-combat area. which means we cannot dash while we're in there. We've known about a weird bug that happens sometimes where you can enter the hotel and maintain your dash for like maybe 10 seconds while you're in the hotel, but never found a consistent way to set it up. A very, very new runner of the game, James Gorton, has discovered... Oh, I think I just stuffed it up. Has discovered a way that is incredibly consistent to maintain Dylan Dash the whole way through the start of this motel and casino. So huge shout outs to my boy James, who is in chat right now for figuring that out. One day he was in my stream. He was just a Remedy fan, and he was in my stream, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to figure out how to make this happen for you. And not even kidding, like 2 hours later, he came back and was like, yeah, I figured it out.
So this works because this motel in the map is placed directly over the room with the mold guys. So they're still like kind of aggro and loaded in. So they stay loaded in for much longer since they're physically closer to us.
はい、開始からだいたい30分、40分くらい経ってますけど、私のね、このわからないなんとなくの喋りを、となって思われる方はぜひ、コメントください。割と何をやってるかわからないよね。この状態をその都度喋る、淡々と喋ることしかできない。
All right, so very important job to do here on this elevator. There is an elevator operator that hangs out just outside the elevator. His name is Bob. So if you're here,
結構エレベーター多いですね。登ったり降りたり多いですね。
Hi Bob in chat right now. Otherwise he gets really cranky.
でっかい施設来たしね。
In chat, so we say hi Bob.
なんかい
Hi
る。
Bob. And now we remember to level up. So saying hi Bob, bye Bob is the reminder that I then need to level up at the next control point. So hi Bob, bye Bob, level up is how it goes.
And I gotta be honest, if I run this category nowadays, I don't think I'd go for launch 6.
You don't think you'd do launch? Well, I guess you're so used to doing it with launch 5, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't feel like it, I don't know. You'd have to lab out. I'd want to lab out the later levels just to make sure, but I don't think it really affects as much in the base game as I thought.
All right. If you go and change the route on me, though, I'm going to be so mad.
Theory crafting.
やっぱ SCP を閉じ込めるっていうことは、これ SCP のなんかそういう感じのゲームなのよくわかってないんだけど、そういうなんかオブジェクトがどうのみたいなやつ。I'm
just going to let you all enjoy this. In fact, while this happens, Foxbird, do you have any messages for us?
I do. We have a $25 donation from Geralt who says, I don't even know the game, but Green Blood sounds dope, voting in the Charlie Murder bid war. And also, like us said in chat earlier, we might be able to get to $2,000 today, which was actually the initial goal for the entire week. So if we can do that today at about the halfway point, that would be incredible.
New challenge for you, chat. If we hit 2,000 run, I will show 3 rescue cats.
3?
How's that? 1,500 for 1 rescue cat, 2,000 for 3 rescue cats. And if we hit 3,000, I'll also show 2 rescue dogs.
You spoil us, Cass.
Yeah, I got way too many pets. I'm not going to lie to y'all. All right, so this is the next boss. This is Salvador. Salvador himself is not dangerous in any way, shape, or form. He has incredibly telegraphed attacks. He's staggerable. He's a bit of a pushover, I'm not going to lie. I say that and he just throws a chair right in my face. Who is dangerous are these ads that are around him. So basically what I'm trying to do here is I needed to try and kill his ads before they fell. But I'm not going to lie to you all, I really kind of stuffed that up. So now I've just got to go into a bit of panic mode because Salvador himself will not kill me. His minions will. But they're all dead now, I think. So we're just going to hide while he throws debris at us. And then we're going to throw our own debris back at him.
This
with a melee just cause... Oh, what just happened? Oh.
His animation glitched.
Hate when that happens. But there we are. That was Cell.
Yeah.
He's a pretty easy boss once you know how to do it.
テレビ触ったら、
Although I will have to point out to you all that I can't show all 3 cats at the same time because one of them does not get along with the other 2. So it'll have to be in like 2 parts. It'll have to be single cat followed by double cats. But we're still working on making them friends. So, but yeah, so once you know how that fight goes, it's a really simple fight to get done. But yeah, you've just got to kill his ads first because I don't think I've ever died to him, but I have died to his friends dozens of times. Also, I totally glossed over the fact that we touched a TV and now we can fly. The levitate in this game is sort of like you get one initial burst of up, and then you can't up again until you touch the ground. Luckily, the ground is a bit of an abstract concept. You know, sometimes it is the ground that you run on. Sometimes it's just like a box. And sometimes it's just a really small piece of geometry that's sticking out from a wall. Which is what we're going to do right now by floating up to this girder, wedging ourselves on top of it, and then we get to skip like...
超常現象でめちゃめちゃになってはいるね。で、なんか主人公も特殊能力を手に入れて、それで対処してる感もあるよね。
It is my all-time favorite game. If you are a fan of sort of like third-person shooters, if you're a fan of like
で、なんかみんななんか赤いオーラをままとってる敵はなんか強そうだし。
You have to be okay with not having your questions fully answered. There is a sequel coming out, and we're hoping we'll get some more answers there, but do not go into this game expecting every mystery to be solved because you will not. You will be disappointed.
There's also that co-op spin-off game coming out in 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
尖ったビルドしてるね。
I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning to watch that
全然
presentation.
わかんないんだけど。
Hell yeah. And you're still going. Jeez.
And I'm still going. Oh, mate, I've napped twice today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm almost 34 years old, man. I can't get through a day without a nap.
なんかでも、
Where am I going?
I feel that so hard.
この裏の
Emily again, and we're approaching not the hardest part.
なんか敵が出てくるもゾーンとなんか日常パートみたいなゾーンがあって今は普通のところでやるんだけどなんか人が浮いてるねって人が浮いてます。
Yep, so there's a reason that in my splits, this whole section is called Probably Dies here.
上向いてたのがゆっくり前になってまた上に向いて
The worst part is my game will just crash here all the time. I don't know
これが
I
エ
don't
リア
get
移
that
動でき
issue,
る
but I definitely just die here.
Well, consider yourself lucky.
あれが弟
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's true. Yeah, at least my run. Although it was funny earlier.
隔離されてるやん
Why are your loading screen so laggy? I was like, I don't know. Ash says the same thing.
That's because your frames are capped at 60.
At 60,
and
yeah, because I haven't uncapped the with the NVIDIA drivers. But yeah, so this area, so this is the face of the enemy mission.
ふわーっと浮くようになったね
Insanely
上
combative.
に上にふわーっ
And
と
this is
浮
sort of
ける
the
やん
real point of the game where we start to get out leveled. So the enemies are way stronger. There's way more of them. And basically, if I don't do things in a very specific way, I will die. Sometimes, even if I do them in a very specific way, I still die because the game is just like, nah, not today, mate. So I will probably be a little bit focused during this, and I'll let Ash handle any of the more specifics. There's not like a great deal to explain, I would say. It's mostly just combat, though. So
it's mostly just it's like we described earlier, where it's
there it is.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's what a death looks like. If you wanted to know.
That's what a death looks like.
It's so nice to show us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, folks. You're right. This was completely intentional, so you all knew what it would look like in the case.
結構あれなんですね。最初のあれが死んでた人があれなんだ。所長だったんだ。なるほどね。そこで銃手に入れたから、そこでからなんか変な四角い世界に飛んで銃を撃ったりとか、オブジェを手に持って投げたりとか、銃浮いてみたりとかしてたんで。それがなんかあれなんだ。超能力手に入れちゃったみたいな。結構戦闘難しいんだ。 ってことはこの奏者さんがめちゃめちゃうまいってことなんだ。まあそうだよね。
This is kind of the combat we described. We want to take out the healing
そう
orb
ですよ
first,
ね。やっ
and we
ぱ
just
り
need to
うまい
manage
で
the
すよ
balance
ね。
between
なんか
our
オートエイムなのかって
resource
ぐらい症
pools,
状になっ
between
て
the
るもんね。だ
ammo
っ
and the
て。
energy. We want to prioritize
こ
the
れ
shield
こういう感じ
defense
のなん
first.
か吸い付くエイムなんだろうなと思ったら、そういうわけじゃなさそうです
Well,
よね、
the
BG
flying
ゲームなん
enemies,
で。
of course. This game also does this really funny, hilarious thing
しか
where
も
it
敵
gives
プラ
us
プラ浮い
an
てるから
enemy that's
さ、
a boss, and then it
出
just
しづらいよね。
reintroduces them as a common enemy type.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, at least the designs are unique enough for you to not really, like, notice.
And then this dude just follows me down the
Don't kill
hallway
him,
every
don't kill
time.
him. Okay.
Someone's still alive.
I was
Oh,
gonna say don't kill that guy because he followed you from before and he's not a part of the fight, and if he stays aggro to you, then you
そう
can
なん
dash
だ。
in
この
non-combat
物
areas.
投げるやつは
that should be all of them.
ゲ
There
ーム
we
不
go.
要な
All
んだ。
right. So those of you who
だ
are
から
Quantum
強い
Break
し、
fans,
物
in
があ
this
れば
room
ずっとやっぱ
here,
攻撃
there
し
is
て
a
も楽に攻
photograph
撃で
on
きるん
this
ですね。
wall. That one right there. So that photo with the circle on it is Courtney
なんか
Hope's
写真
character,
ですね。
Jesse Faden, from Control, meeting with Courtney Hope's character from Quantum Break, which is probably
外
the
出てみ
closest we
て、
get to proper Quantum Break linking in this game. There is a few more links in Alan Wake 2's DLC. Oh, there's also a if you like unlock the camera and go inside one of the cigarette
結構エレベー
machines
ター多
in
い
the
ですね。
ashtray
なんていうの
maze, there is a cigarette brand called Jack's Choice, which is a character from Quantum Break, Jack Joyce.
Oh,
But
I didn't know about that.
that's like, you gotta go real in depth to find that one.
I wonder if that's just a leftover asset or if they made
なん
that
か
for
まとめて
Control.
敵倒せるんだろうけど、すげえ敵があれだね。気持ち悪いというか、プラプラしてるね。
This fight's nice because they call it kind of
敵なんだ
line
よな、
up
敵が
for
さっき
you,
か
usually.
あ、
いいね、巻き込むんだ。
I think we're okay.
巻き込むとやっぱ
Make
倒しや
sure
す
that
い
dude
です
doesn't
ね。
come down the elevator. So there's a really annoying bug in this room where a guy from upstairs can actually walk through the elevator doors after you get in the elevator, and he falls on top of the elevator and rides it down and then comes through the elevator again to this room while this cutscene is playing out. And I can't move, right? I can't move, I can't shoot, I can't do anything while that cutscene plays out. So he just sits there and just like offloads his shotgun into me. And it's real annoying because you do die there every single time he comes down. So you've always got to be careful to make sure he hasn't come down before you activate the control point there. And this is a little bit of an auto scroller, so that turntable out there is going to be
This is 40
rotating.
straight seconds, right?
The what? Sorry?
This is 40 straight
Oh.
seconds,
40
right?
straight seconds. So I will give you a chance, Foxbird, to read us another message, but there's one important thing I need to do first.
押してくださいみたいな。
Mug
押
flip,
して
baby.
くださいみたいな。
There you go.
Easy. First
Nice.
try. Blessed run. Foxbird, it's all yours.
Yes, we have
Botan
another
var det då?
$25 donation from
Botan.
Falchi. I think that's how you say that. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Saying the clock vomit boss always crashes my game, so I never got past it, but I really enjoy Control. Good luck on the run.
The anchor is one of my favorite bosses. I am so sorry that you didn't get a chance to get past it, because very, very cool boss. Not quite as cool as the former, but yeah, incredible, incredible boss. All
I
bosses is
think I
actually
like the
probably
name
my
Clock
favorite
Vomit
category.
boss, though.
Sorry, I should cut you off there.
No, I said I think I like the name Clock Vomit boss.
The clock did like the name better than the anchor. Clock vomit, yeah, love
エレベー
that.
ター入った。
Yeah, yeah.
I actually think so. All bosses for this run is actually really, really fun. We only see 2 of the bosses in the any percent run. There are only 2 required bosses in the entire game. But what base with DLC, I think base game and DLC, there's like 17 bosses in total.
17?
Is that right?
I didn't realize there were that many in the DLC.
So hang on. How many you got in the DLC? You've got Distorted Tourist. You've got Third Act Villain, Marshall, the one whose name I can never remember. So there's yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like 7 in the 3 across the 3
I'll take your
DLCs.
word for it. your word for it. I've never touched all bosses with DLC.
These bloody legacy runners, guys. I tell you what. All right, so this is probably the
game was fine when it came out.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, very, very valid point. Very valid point. All right, so this is probably not. This isn't the most dangerous fight, but this is the one that if I die, it sucks the most because the run back's a really long time. So we're going to try really hard not to die here. You know, as opposed to the rest of the run where I've only tried.
パワードスーツ着てる人なんなんだろう。ポールアウトにしてくるパワードスーツみたいな。
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, that should be fine. All right, cool. Whew. Oh, there's one guy left alive. Thankfully, I don't need to kill him to be able to progress. All right, and the next fight is utter garbage, pun intended. So Ash, this is the way where I'm going to pass it to you, and I'm just going to try and do this without dying.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the other fights that we do in regular any percent. So yeah, this is one where we just need to once again just manage all our resource pools. We take out the hit board first, and this one comes in 3 or 4 waves. I think.
物が多そうで倒しやすそうだけど、そうでもない。
I lagged out there.
You good? You back?
Yeah, this one comes in 3. Yeah, I'm back. This one comes in 3 to 4 waves, and what's annoying is the final wave is tied to the ground enemies in the 3rd wave. So you have to kill the enemies from the ground wave for the last guy to spawn in a timely fashion, or else we'll just be sitting around waiting for who knows how long. And you're still going to be waiting a couple seconds just because that's how this one goes.
That was pretty clean, though. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh yeah, I forgot to put on a second. I forgot to put on a second mod, like at all.
Oh, you're good.
All right. So that is most of the hard stuff done. We're really approaching the beginning of the end here.
主人公と弟の出身地そのものここそのままここに保管されすごいとんでも施設とんでも施設すぎるだろ
I think I might die. I'm going to say that and I'm going to die in some ridiculous way that I've never died before. But there's only one more part of the whole run that I'm worried about. And unfortunately, it's pretty much right at the end. But this next part is sort of like a bit of a calm before the storm, which is nice. So we can probably get some more messages in from you, I reckon, Foxbird.
Yes.
敵が
Just a reminder that we have
敵が
another
すごい
video going on
あれですね
for rerun after this, which is Charlie
硬
Murder.
そうなやつになってき
You
た
will be able to vote on the blood color
マシン
throughout
ガ
the
ンみたい
entire
なの持
run,
ってる
but
し
better get your favorites in now because you never know what happens. And other than that, just another reminder that we are here raising funds for Go Rescue Pet Rescue Center. They have a section on their website for adoption success stories. So if you want to read some really cute stories about dogs that found happiness, go to gorescuedogs.com/success stories to get some adorable stories and pictures. What is happening in the chat?
That would be my girlfriend writing in.
Oh,
Hello, Cafe Cuties.
and look around for 1 second. Thank you for the raid.
Welcome to the Marathon Cafe Cuties. It is a pleasure to have you all here. Whoops, wrong one.
Look away
Wrong
for
one again.
1 second.
Ventilation. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Just here for the rewards is my girlfriend. But all right, cool. So we are approaching the coolest section of the game. So we've just gotten to what's called the Ashtray Maze. If you have not played this game, and if I have sold it well enough to the point that you want to play this game, I will say maybe I'll give you another heads up, but there's a very, very cool part coming up that if I had have had spoiled for me before my casual playthrough, I would have been so
出身
horribly
地
sad.
域出身地自体が
So I'm going to leave
SCP
it
関
up to
連事
you.
件で
It
壊滅し
takes
て
about
て
3 minutes. I will give you a proper warning.
この関
If
係
you
で
know
町
what's
その
coming
も
up,
の
you
が
know
その
what's
まま
coming
施設に収容される
up.
でかすぎるだろ施
But
設が
otherwise, just I'll leave it up to you whether or not you want to have it spoiled or not. But just like, you know, even if you just want to look away for 3 minutes and then look back, that's all I'll say on the matter. But here we've just got a bit of backtracking to do. The actual main way to do this is to go like all around to different parts of the oldest house to track down Artie the janitor. Thankfully, you don't actually have to hit any real triggers. You can just kind of go straight to the end.
電気つけたりして消したりつけたりしたらこの謎になんか道が出たりとかなんか謎なルーティンなんだここの
We've got like a couple of minutes before I get there. I mean, like you can still go away for 3 minutes, but it's yeah. But I'm glad to hear that that you know I have inspired you to pick up and play this game because it really is incredible. It is an incredible single player experience, and we're getting a sequel. So like, what's not to love? I don't have to hit this 2 times.
I mean, you've convinced
now.
me too. I might pick it up after I'm done hosting.
That is a great idea. Look, it goes on sale all the time. Like it is constantly on sale. It has been free on Epic Games Store a bunch of times. And these days you pretty much can't get just the base game. You get all the DLC as well. And the DLCs are incredible. Like it's just a really
施設なのになんか外みたいな。
from this point onwards, and we're about to have some more chat interaction time. If you all are ready, I'm going to give you all a number, and you all are going to have to type it in chat so that I
おー、すごい落ちる。
remember when I
けど、超能力で浮くことができる。
so that I remember it after I give it to you. So I hope everyone is ready for the chat interaction segment of this run. 5232, so 5232, 5332, 53...
5402.
5402?
Yeah.
Damn, you did that real quick. Chat, can you please write 5402 in chat? Like, I could probably just ask Ash to remember it, but I feel like it's more fun if I ask you all.
So so this is like gated by progression triggers that aren't up until a 90-second timer is up after you press that button back there. So he was marking down his time. I assume he has live split or something running.
I have live split open, yeah.
But yeah, so he just marked his time down and added 90 seconds to it so he knows when to go back out. Because you can basically just press the button and then go straight across.
ゴンドラみたいな。
And then chill on the other side. This is the one part of the run that's just like truly legitimate downtime where absolutely nothing is happening. Which is fine in any percent, like regular any percent, because you're kind of doing stuff nonstop in that category. And this one.
待たないといけないところ無理やりスキップ。
We get to check in with each other. You know? We get to welcome the new raiders that just came in. From my dear friend Nightbox.
Oh, welcome, Raiders!
We get to
thank you for the raid.
we get to hang out until 5402, which is when I start running. And then we go. So basically what's happening here is there is a trigger that spawns in the middle of this chasm 90 seconds. Seconds after I hit that first button.
あれですね、奏者さんの回線が悪そうですね。数字は動いてるんで。
of the chasm at 5402.
Do we pause?
I will be able to be there as soon as the trigger spawns, which then unlocks the ability to progress. So it's a really convenient way.
なんか森現れたよ。
Wait there,
Yeah, the chat is
fight a
confirming
whole
we are
bunch of
back.
enemies. Oh no, it's
森が見えるんですけど、海とか。
Alright, hang on, I'll pause.
超能力しすぎちゃって。
Is it
奏者
just
さん
me
の
or is it
方も
stream
超能力
entirely?
で使えちゃうみたいです。
Oh. Okay, chat is confirming we're back.
Lost control.
All right, as we were, chat, as we were. Sorry, give me a second. I got to open chat back up now.
Sorry.
We're back. Hello, Nightbox. See, the stream got so excited that Nightbox and friends were here, it just got overwhelmed. Just got overwhelmed, which honestly, fair. Oh, Foxbird. This is why I'm glad you're hosting my run. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to avoid a very, very, very cool spoiler, please step away for 3 minutes. If you do not want to avoid a very cool spoiler, Ash and I are going to shut up, and you're just going to turn up your volume, turn up your speakers, and enjoy the best part of this game.
なんかチカチカする部屋来た。ネタバレを気にするせいで3分見ないでって。
Sorry, I just got a really good mod. I'm going to equip it before I forget.なんか、すげえ、この部屋。Okay, and we're done. And we're done.
Is it the
Very,
credit song?
very
Wow.
cool section of the game. Easily my
よかったで
favorite
すね。
part of the game. And don't
何だ
worry,
ったん
Tech,
だ
that is
今の。
not DMCA music. That will not get this VOD muted.
So yeah, so fun. So
But
fun
there is
fact, the
music in this game that
rotatability
will get the
was
VOD muted, but I
nerfed
have that
in
turned
the
off, so don't
Foundation update, and it doesn't let you slam upwards anymore. That's why
And
we have to
now
find
we
all these
are
stupid little
approaching
ledges to
赤い
like
無
sit
駄みたいな。
on because we
the
can't just slam up.
real hardest part of the run.
That's like one change that I.
Oh, almost fell there. I didn't know that that was when it. This is all. I'm learning so much. See, this is why I have you here. You think I'd know all these things about my favorite game, but alas. All right.
Yeah, so for reasons we're
So
not
this is
going to get into
Polaris.
because we've
This is
just
like I guess,
reserved
kind
ourselves
of
from
like
talking about the story of this game. We have to cleanse this distilled down too, as we have to dash
this
over
is the
here
last
as
point
fast
where
as
like
we
your
can and get
levels
behind
matter
them, use them as
anyway.
cover, and hold to interact,
Ash,
because
do you want
interacting
to
with each of these
explain
takes
while I
about
do?
like 7 seconds or something.
でっかい
Right, so
玉が
that's
来
2
た
out
よ。
of 3, and then hopefully
なんだこれ。
most of them have aggroed over
なん
to
だ
the
これ。
other side of the
なん
room.
だこれ。でも
And
破壊
then,
せ
yeah,
る。
you're good. Every now and again,
Like what?
I remember I'd get a guy just rushing over to the right side or something and then just shooting me off of it, but that's just a thing. Yeah, this one's really dicey. This is a 50-50, I'd
なんだこれ。
say. Okay. So hopefully these flyers are de-aggroed, but that guy on the right's gonna hit you. Yep, okay. That's one you just need to get off and fight if that happens.
アンテナを調整することで、あら。あらー。
Only dying for our benefit.
いいとこでしたのに。いいとこでしたのに。あらー。終わっちゃったー。はい、ということで、ちょっと多分、もともとなんか、途中で途切れだったので、多分、解説されてる方と喋られてる方の、なんか、が被っちゃったりとかしてたので、若干、遅れてたんでしょうね。戻ってくるとは思うんですが、どうでしょうという形です。
All right, sorry about that, chat, but it should be fixed now, so we can get back to the control run by Cass. And remember, if you want to donate to Go Rescue Dog Adoption Center, I butchered your name. It's fine. Put donate in the chat, and we should be back now.
We are indeed. Which is good because that gave me time to just like assess some enemy locations. You know, that was actually a tactical pause on my end. I think I'm too far to the left here. So the issue here is all of these enemies have outscaled me. Oh, no, we're fine. We're fine. Okay,
nope,
cool. We're through the hardest one. Oh, I'm caught on the satellite. There we go. There we go. So yeah, so we've managed to find ways that's like maybe, what would you say, like 70% consistent, Ash?
I say it's a 50-50 at best.
Yeah, okay, well, and it's sort of just a coin flip as to whether or not you die or you make it through unscathed.
I mean, I told someone in the Discord the other day, they were asking about consistency, and I'm just like, well, you just can't make it consistent. You have to know when to get off of that one and take the fight. Because if you have to take the fight, it's not that bad. But you just have to know when to do that. Because you want to take the fight before they hit you. And it's just a matter of like reading what the enemies are about to do and all that. So yeah, that's probably the one spot that we don't have a real consistent strat for. It is what it is.
And unfortunately, it's 55 minutes into an hour-long run. Oh wow, these guys never hit me.
Okay, that's actually very rare.
I'm not gonna say it's never happened before, but that's very uncommon.
It happened to me in like 42.
There we go.
But
Alright, and this is the part where if I hadn't done the whole upside down webcam thing at the very start, I would have been like, oh, and time. Because credits are about to roll, and then we'd all just have a really good joke about like, yeah, that was a pretty good run. You know, that was Ash. What do you think about that run? You know, I'm really disappointed that I died at Polaris and stuff like that. And then the credits start getting messed up, and it's sort of like, oh, what's going on here?
Oh no, what's going on?
And then
with the PC?
and Ash
It's
and
on
I are
fire.
just such good actors that you all would have believed it. And then we would have been like, psych, this is a bit. But we're just not going to do
すごいこ
I'm terrible at selling
う、
this
溶けてるけど。
actually. I was gonna, if I get this into
文字が
GDQ,
ぐちゃ
I'm
ぐちゃ
gonna
ですけど。
replace the credits with something else.
Do it, replace it with a blue screen.
あれ
Like
あ
the,
れ
I was, yeah, I was
something
gonna do
went
something
wrong.
like something
エン
adjacent.
ドロール
Uh-oh.
流れてると思うんだけど、
So
文
unfortunately,
字
this
ぐ
is
ちゃ
part
ぐ
of
ちゃ
the
ですけ
Philosophy
ど、
Rule, so this is just a nice little
印刷ミスったコピー機みたいになってますけど。
You beat Polaris Split. In a perfect world, you didn't die,
あ
but
れおかしい。
very rarely does that happen. Oh my
What's
god.
nice about this is you can basically guess what your time is going to be at this point. It's usually like 4.5 minutes
あ、戻ってきた。
of this because we are now in a nightmare sequence, and Jesse's nightmare is being an unpaid intern, which is very relatable in corporate America, right?
True. Well, I mean, I wouldn't know. We have a minimum wage here in Australia, so that was too
Yeah,
political.
so
We're
we
not
have
getting
to
political on
do-
the stream right now.
コーヒーカップいっぱい
We
集め
have
て
to complete 2 tasks in order to proceed to the next
めっちゃコーヒーカップある
section,
な
and so we just do coffee cups because they are the easiest to do. The scanner is technically a few seconds faster, but only with perfect execution. It's just the margin is very small.
And for those who have played this casually before, you don't actually have to do all the tasks. You do only have to do 2, and you can do the same task twice, which I didn't know about. I did all the tasks. And then you collect the mail,
Yeah.
deliver it to the director who we unfortunately saw dead at the
あ、
very
また
start of the
の
game.
所長の部屋じゃん。オフィスじゃん。あ、またコーヒーカッ
And
プ。
we're back.
コーヒーカップ
And
集め
a
てる。
common recurring theme in this game is
Better coffee cup.
the, what do they call it? The power of
The
3 or
law of
something?
3, the rule of 3.
Rule of 3? Yeah, rule of 3. So we have to do this 3 times. And that's why you see many actions in this game being repeated 3 times. It's like a narrative thing. So we do this twice, and then the third time we
でっ
just run
かい
straight
なん
to
か
the end.
筒みたいなのもらって、
Are you going for the cutscene, Neum, or do you not do that?
No.
所長の部屋
No,
に
I
行っ
don't know.
て、
Like I've done it like twice, and
Oh.
no, I don't even need to pick up that sticky note.
What a
And no,
coffee cup
I don't know
there.
how to do it properly.
さすがにね、コーヒーカップもいいよね。なんか
So
人が増えてきた。
I'm not even going to bother explaining shit.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
fine.
say they're not gonna see it, so but that's okay. Well,
Yeah, yeah, we just grab the thing and we run to the end, and the gun is on the desk for us to pick up and grab. And basically, the story kind of
銃が。
pivots to this thing about Jessie just realizing she can become the director, and so that's really what this whole sequence is about. Is when she picks up the gun, she realizes, yes, I can do this. I can save everyone, kind of deal.
it's pretty motivating. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I think the game does the player
なん
analog
か見たことある。
character
電気つけたり消したりす
pretty
るところ。
well. Like the whole
あ、
Polaris
出た出た出
character
た。
is really cool.
また出た、この部屋、
And as a
宿泊
special
施設
treat,
みたいな
chat,
ところの、あれです。あ、なんか
we're
で
gonna
か
watch
い
the。best cutscene in the game.
何これ、何これ。何これ、何これ。
Believe it or not, this cutscene actually has very heavy lore
なん
implications.
か踊ってんだけど。楽しそう。顔がマジじゃん。
Ash, I assume you're also dancing along.
楽しそう。すごい楽しそう。
I'm too sick for that, friend.
Okay, all right, all right.
「鉄腕の友」みたいな人出てきた。
There you go. Normally that's an incentive, but I decided to give it to you all for free. Since I already threw like a
なんだ
bonus
今のは
incentive in with the
今
captain,
のは何だったん
so...
だ
All right, and now we are heading to the final sequence of the game. So this is sort of a... I guess it's almost like a reward for beating the game. Basically, the game just soups you up. You get like max level, you one-shot everything. Unfortunately, all the enemies are also max level. So I think the strongest enemy we saw throughout the game so far was about level 8. In this next sequence, everything is level 30. However, you are also level 30, so you just mow through everything. Unfortunately, we are speedrunners. And speedrunners don't like to take fights, we don't have to. So we're just going to skip it all. Bit of fun fact, I will get to it in a second.
なんか不思議な空間を飛んでる。
So this is 2 skips back to back. This is a skip to the 3rd island because this last section is like, it comes up in 3 stages as islands that rise up, and we can just sort of skip to the 3rd island. And then after he does that, there's a skip that's probably the most recent skip found for this category in patch version because we didn't even think it was possible. Since they fixed what we did before. But it turns out that, see, they added like a great big wall around this with no
戦
holes.
闘スキップ。
But it turns out there's just little ledges that you can walk onto, and we can
すごいふわーって
go
飛
all
ん
the
で
way
る。
around it and just go straight to Dylan right at the end here.
Yeah, so this wall was put in
もうあれで
place
すね。
because of speedrunners,
なんか
and
スタミ
we
ナと
took
か
that
関係なく
personally.
ふわー
So
って飛
rather
べ
than
る
going
です
through it,
ね。
we just go around it. And it's very, very precise.
Yeah, this one's way harder than what we do on Legacy, for sure.
I got it. We're fine. We're fine. I can't stuff it up from here, so... Or I say that, and then I'll stuff it up somehow for the very first time. Or I'll dash on the Dylan platform and crash the game. Time.
Time's coming up.
あ、弟。
Underestimate. I'm pretty stoked with that. Little secret, I hadn't run this
GG
game
でござい
for
ま
like
す。
2.5 months before today. So I'm really, really happy that we were able to do
1時間
that.
17分10秒でございます。
Hey, it was a good run. I mean,
Yeah, what was
you
the...
only died
GG?
once?
What was my time on... 117. 117. Cool. Cool. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. Ash, real quick, do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Just the speedrunning community for this game. I mean, it's not the most active, but we do try and help everyone that comes in and asks questions. So if you were at all interested in running this game, just jump in and start asking. I mean,
If you want to learn glitches, Ash is the man to talk to. If you want to learn glitchless, by all means, I will happily teach anyone to run. But yeah, real quick, massive shout out to the Control speedrunning community. Of course, to Ash. Ash has just woken up. He's sick. He still came and commentated for me. So huge thank you to you, of course, Ash. To
今度は
Noga
普通
for
のエ
having
ンドロー
me.
ルですか？
This has been awesome. I've been a part of many,
今
many
度はさすがに普
marathons.
通のエンドロールかな？
And this has been one of the smoothest and best organized that I've ever been a part of. Of course, to
Shawshank%.
my community on
By the way.
on Twitch, if you twitch.tv/KassXCII, if you want to see more of what I do, speedruns, casual playthroughs, all that kind of stuff. And over there, we do have a little bit of a tradition that we do at the end of every single stream. And I would like to, of course, bring you all into it here and now. It is a reminder, first and foremost, that the world is a bigger, better, and brighter place with you in it. You are doing a wonderful job. I am super proud of you. And in case no one has told you today, you've got a great butt, a cute face, and I love you. So stay happy, stay safe. And if you can't do either of those, then stay strong because better days are coming and they are just around the corner. I promise you that. So until we see each other again, look after yourselves, look after each other. But until then, I have been Cass. This has been Control. You have all been amazing. And I'll see you all next time.
Shawshank%.
Shawshank%.
You can't forget Shawshank%, bro.
Shawshank Redemption.
There it is. Shawshank%.
There it is. Yep.
はい。これで多分終わりだと思います。はい。ここまでのゲーム、コントロールでしたね。変わったゲームで割と面白そうだなと思ったんですけど、最後おじさんが踊るとは思いませんでした。はい。続きましてのゲームの準備してまいりますので、一旦失礼いたします。引き続きよろしくお願いします。
And I'm afraid I do get that reference, so I have to sing it. I love cats. I love every kind of cat. But especially the 3 cats we would see on stream, which Cass actually didn't show us the cat. That is a tragedy. I can't believe we've been betrayed like this.
Mhm. Chat, I am so sorry. I forgot to show Kat. This is Remy. She is a little void goblin. She is one of the best things that has ever happened, and we love her very, very much in this house. So everyone say hello
新し
to
く、
Remy.
あれですね。
You want to say hello?
なんか、やってくれるみたいで。
No, she don't give a shit. She don't give a shit.
いや、これ変わるんか
With
な
a Y or an I?
With an
ゲー
I.
ムが
Or, you know,
変わるんですけ
Gremlin,
ど、
Remykins,
にゃんこ
Remy
が。
Meow. Every cat has multiple names. But all right. Thank you, Tech.
あ、変わった。変わりましたね。猫ちゃん挨拶しに来てくれましたね。ありがとうございました。
Alright, that was actually it for Cass's portion of this speedrun. And just give us a moment to get the Charlie murder run ready for you.
はい、こんばんは。
Alright.
続きですね。
Tech is on getting Charlie murder ready. So while we are here, just us.
続きのゲー
No
ムを
Glitches
説明
Allowed
させていただ
2025
き
is
まし
raising
て、
money for Go
次の
Rescue
ゲー
and
ム
Dog
は、
Shelter
チ
in
ャーリー・
Hampton,
マーダーで
Virginia.
すかね。
Go Rescue works to provide a haven for homeless dogs,
もう
giving
ま
them
ず
the time, care, and love they need to find not just any home, but the right home. And you can
なんか
donate by
タイト
typing
ルから見る
exclamation point
と
donate in the chat. We are
不穏な
trying
雰
to
囲気
get
しま
to
すけど、
$2,000
という
today,
ゲームなん
which
ですかね。
actually was the goal for the
はい。
entirety of the
で、
week.
こちらのタイ
And
トル
we're
ですね。
before the halfway point, so getting that today would be
解
amazing.
説の方
And
はい
we
らっしゃい
provide
ま
help
せんの
to
で、
so
も
many
しご
dogs.
存知の方
And
だ
I know
った
we just
り、
saw a cat, but dogs are great too.
なんかわかるよって人はぜひコメントいただいてもよろしいですし。そう、こ
In
の喋っ
addition
て
to
る
your
人眠
monetary
そうだなっ
donations,
て
Go
思ってちょ
Rescue
っと
is
起こし
always
に
in
来
need
て
of
くれるっ
supplies
て
to
いうん
keep the
で、
pups happy
コ
and
メント
healthy.
を
They
一緒に
accept
喋って
dry
い
and
ただく
canned
方
dog
も、
food, bleach, cheap paper towels, laundry
ご集
detergent,
中でございま
furniture,
すの
and
で、
even
よろしくお願
vehicles.
いします。
You can also go to gorescuedogs.com and go to the How Can I Help tab to find their Amazon wishlist. Let's about the pups.
本当に実を言うとですね、私普通に10時まで仕事していまして、で、そのまま帰ってきてご飯を食べて寝る準備をするまでで30分しか経ってないんですけど、そのまま喋ってるだけなんですけどはい、 疲れてはないんですけどね、全然全く。眠いかっていうと、眠たいかもしれないんでね。はい。
Additional reminder that the
全然
bit lore
ローテンションなだけなんで大丈夫ですよ。
for Charlie Murder Blood Color will be closing relatively soon. So if you are
みん
invested
なもね、
in having red or green blood, get your donations
土
in
日
now.
をみんな休んでくれよな。ゴールデンウィーク入る人もいると思うんですけど、私、ゴールデンウィーク存在しない職種でして、ゴールデンウィークは存在しないんですけど、皆さんも良い日々をお過ごしください。イベントもね、いっぱいありますから。イベントもいろんなところでいっぱいやってますから。それをね、糧にしながらちょっとみんな生き抜いてくださいね。そうですよ。連休で、ちゃんと働いてる人がいるからこそ、皆さんが、お休みをね、謳歌できるというところも、ね、あるかもしれないですね。はい。最近、なんか、別になんか不調だったり、体調不良みたいなのはないんですけどね。全然。
All right, I am getting a call from production that we are ready to go. So give me a minute and we will have the next one ready for you.
別に代表じゃないですけどね。まあね、そういう人もいるよねっていう。ね、いや、一つ思うのはね、やっぱり休みの日ぐらいはね、あれですよね、天気悪くなってほしくないんで、ちょっと晴れててほしいなっていう気持ちはありますよね。